Beginning of the 7th century. A hot and scorching day on the Arabian Peninsula. A little girl was trying to understand what her father was doing. Apparently, he was digging a hole in the middle of the desert. Despite her confusion, she was very happy to be able to spend time with her father for the first time. Because until that moment, she had never felt his love. At one point, she even tried to help him dig. The deeper the hole became, the more her curiosity grew. Could it be that they were going to play? What kind of game would it be? While she was trying to figure out what would happen next, after an unexpected push, she found herself at the bottom of the hole. Her father had pushed her there. Without looking at his frightened daughter's face, he quickly began to cover her with earth. This terrible scene relates to the times on the Arabian Peninsula before the acceptance of Islam. The period of Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance. Unfortunately, this practice was widespread. In those dark times, when girls were considered a source of shame, they were buried alive in the cruelest way by their own fathers, the very people from whom they expected the most love. But it was not only about that. Many innocent people died because of blood feuds. Orphans suffered humiliation. The strong oppressed the weak. There was no law or justice. People were so lost, so far astray, that they made idols from stone and worshipped those idols, created by their own hands. They expected help and protection from them. The spiritual atmosphere was covered by dark clouds. Hearts were full of violence, and minds full of ignorance. It seemed that souls were suffocating, experiencing the agony of death. At such a time, Allah sent a light of guidance to turn all this darkness into light. This light was the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Year 608. Before becoming a prophet, every year, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, became more and more known for his honesty and high moral qualities. No one had ever heard him tell a lie even once. He became one of the most respected people in society. He was so respected that they gave him the nickname Muhammad al-Amin, Muhammad the Trustworthy. One day his tribe, the Quraysh, struggled to repair the Kaaba. When the repairs were done, the clans could not agree who should place the sacred black stone, Hajar al-Aswad, back in its place. Each believed that their family deserved this honor. The dispute became so heated that they began to swear to kill each other. Then, by unanimous agreement, Muhammad al-Amin acted as a judge in this matter, resolved the dispute, and peacefully settled the conflict. He suggested placing the black stone on a piece of cloth, and the leaders of each clan should hold one corner of it. Finally, he himself took the stone and set it in place. Everyone was very pleased with this solution. Year 610. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was about to turn 40 years old. At a time when persecution and injustice in Mecca intensified, he wanted to leave the cruel idol worshippers and be alone with his Lord. He could no longer bear what was happening in the city. To some extent, he decided to distance himself from society and regularly climb Mount Nur. While he was in the cave of Hira on the mountain, reflecting on the creation of his Lord and praying to him for months, his love for the Creator grew stronger every day. One of those days, he suddenly met a being he had never seen before. It was Gabriel, the angel of revelation. And the first verse of the last true book, the Quran, was revealed to the earth. Read. In the name of your Lord who created man from a clot. Read. Your Lord is the most generous, who taught by the pen, taught man what he did not know. After receiving the first revelation and becoming a prophet, he began to call people to Islam, starting with those closest to him. The first woman to believe in him was his wife Khadija. The first man to believe in him was Abu Bakr. And the first child, Ali, may Allah be pleased with him. In the early years of revelation, the call to Islam was secret. Thus, Muslims could be protected from danger. Among the believers were people from various social classes. Men, women, poor, rich, free, slaves, adults, children, and others. Over time, their number approached 40. By the end of the third year, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, climbed the hill of Safa and openly explained Islam to the people of Quraysh. Pagans who had for many years practiced the religion of their ancestors were not at all happy about this new religion. They tried with all their might to stop the spread of Islam. They saw it as a loss of power and authority. It was a matter of struggle for dominance between tribes. And that is why they preferred not to listen and to ignore everything that was said. For them, this religion was unacceptable because it changed all their views. How could black and white, rich and poor, nobles and commoners, slaves and free people be equal? How could they all be called brothers and sisters? To value daughters, to treat women as human beings, to give them the right to speak, the right to an opinion, to say, heaven lies under the feet of mothers. These concepts were completely alien to them at that time. They said, where did this new religion come from? Because they saw Islam as the religion of slaves and the poor, their rejection grew stronger. They tried all possible ways to force the believers to abandon their faith. They insulted them, beat them, and tortured them. Muslims endured the harshest tortures just because they said, Allah is my Lord, and there is no God but Allah. Year 616. As a result of oppression, a group of 101 Muslims migrated to Abyssinia to live their religion in peace. Before them, 19 Muslims had already gone there. But the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and some of his companions remained in Mecca. The king of Abyssinia, Najashi, said that the Bible and Torah foretold the coming of Prophet Muhammad. Then he promised the Muslims that they could live in peace in his country. Despite all the oppression, the number of Muslims grew. 2 men, feared by all in Mecca, also joined the believers and became Muslims. Hamza and Umar, may Allah be pleased with them. This further strengthened the faith and courage of the believers. For the first time, Muslims went out together and openly proclaimed Islam. This became a sign that the balance was beginning to change. Year 617. With the growing number of Muslims, the fury of the idol worshippers increased. The Quraysh tried every possible way to force the Prophet and his followers to abandon their mission. He completely rejected all their offers, such as, we will make you the richest, we will make you our leader, and the like. Lies and mockery could not shake either the Prophet or the people around him. Failing to defeat them intellectually, they resorted to violence against Muslims. And when that also failed, they decided to start a ruthless boycott against the family of Hashim, including Prophet Muhammad. They did not sell to them or buy from them anything. They even prevented those who wanted to sell something to Muslims or help them in any way, without distinction between young and old, children, women, and the sick. They left them hungry, thirsty, and isolated, hoping they would eventually give up. Year 619. The boycott was extremely harsh and exhausting. Muslims often could not find any food and spent many days starving. They even had to eat animal skins and tree bark to survive. When people saw that the prophet rejected all material benefits and only suffered for his mission, they could not deny his sincerity and began to believe in him. What could resist the truth that enlightens and nourishes the soul, heart, and mind? After 3 long years, the boycott ended. It was a huge relief for all Muslims and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. But in the same year, he lost 2 important supports who stood by him in every trial: his uncle and his beloved wife. That is why this year became known as the Year of Sorrow, year 620. Despite all the sorrow, our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, knew that this world was only a test, and he never stopped fulfilling his duty. Granting faith and guidance to his people was in Allah's hands. So he focused on his task to deliver the message. He went to one of the largest cities of that region, Taif, with Zayd, to call its residents to Islam. But by order of their leaders, the people of Taif began to throw stones at them for 2.5 kilometers, a distance that took more than 3,000 steps to cover. They were mercilessly pelted with stones, spat on, and insulted. From Taif, where he went to save the eternal souls of its people, Prophet Muhammad returned to Mecca, covered in blood and wounds. After enduring one sorrow after another, Allah granted our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, left the city of Taif saddened. The people of Taif had mocked him, ridiculed him, and pelted him with stones until his blessed feet were bleeding. This painful event took place in the 10th year of his prophethood, during the month of Ramadan. When the Prophet, peace be upon him, returned to Mecca, even his own people refused to let him enter the city. He was left standing outside the very place of his birth, the city he loved. This was one of the most difficult and painful moments in his life. With a heart full of sorrow, he climbed up to the cave of Hira and turned to his Lord in prayer. He said, "O Allah! If you are not displeased with me, then I do not care what others do to me. Your pleasure alone is my goal." This heartfelt supplication revealed how much he valued Allah's
Satisfaktion abrufe al Else. Even when rejected by mankind, he sought only the approval of his Lord. At that moment, the angel Gabriel, came to him and said, "O Muhammad, if you wish, I can command the angel of the mountains to crush these people between the 2 mountains." But the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, replied with mercy and hope, "No, I do not wish for that. Perhaps from among their descendants there will emerge people who will worship Allah alone." Even toward those who had harmed him, he showed mercy and compassion. His heart was filled with kindness and hope. Allah helped him overcome the sorrow in his heart, for prophets are the most patient and resilient among people. This incident teaches us a powerful lesson: even in times of rejection and great hardship, we should never lose hope. We should remain steadfast and seek only the pleasure of Allah.